So here we're multiplying by or multiplying multiples of 10, so numbers in the 10 times table. First we have 7 times 50. Well, 7 times 5 is 35, so 7 times 50 is 350. Because 7 times 5 is 35, then if we have one end zero in the question, we need one end zero in the answer. Now 80 times 8 is 640. Because 8 times 8 is 64, then again one end zero in the multiplication question means we have one end zero in the answer. Now 5 times 20 is 100. Because if we ignore the end zero for a moment, 5 times 2 is 10, but then if we have one end zero in the question, we need an end zero in the answer. Now let's multiply using the grid method. We have 2 times 88, so we can partition 88 into 80 and 8. So we can work out 2 times 80, work out 2 times 8, and then add up our answers. So on our grid, we need our single digit number on the left, and then our partitioned number, so 80 and 8, on the top. Now to start with, we have 2 times 80. Well, 2 times 8 is 16, so 2 times 80 is 160. Now in this box we have 2 times 8, which is 16, and then we just need to add up our answers, which gives us 176. Now 32 times 9. Again, it's the 2-digit number that we need to partition, so we can partition 32 into 30 and 2. So we can work out 9 times 30, then 9 times 2, and then add up our answers. We need our single digit number on the left, and then our partitioned number, so 30 and 2, on the top. Now in this box we have 9 times 30. Well, 9 times 3 is 27, so 9 times 30 is 270. And in this box we have 9 times 2, which is 18. So we add 270 plus 18, which gives us 288 as our answer. Let's multiply using the expanded column method. So for 44 times 2, we can multiply the ones digit by 2 in our first answer line, then write a 0 in our second answer line, because there we're multiplying the tens digit, the 4, by 2, and then finally we can add up our answers. So 4 times 2 is 8, we need a 0 in our second answer line, and then 4 times 2 is 8, so we add up our answer lines and we have our answer. Now 39 times 5. 9 times 5 is 45. Then we're going to move on to the tens digit, so we need a 0 in the ones of our second answer line. And 3 times 5 is 15. So now we just add up our answer lines, and 39 times 5 is 195. Now 58 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32, 0 in our second answer line. 5 times 4 is 20, then we add up our answer lines, and we have our answer. Now let's multiply using short multiplication. To start with, we have 16 times 5. So we can set this out with our 2-digit number on top and our single-digit number, so our smaller number, underneath. Now we start by multiplying the digit in the ones. So 6 times 5 is 30, so 3, 0, and then we can multiply the number in our tens, or the digit in our tens. So 1 times 5 is 5, but then we need to add what's on top. So 1 times 5 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So 16 times 5 is 80. Now 23 times 4, so we can set this out in the same way. 3 times 4 is 12, so 1, 2. Then 2 times 4 is 8, plus the 1 on top is 9. So our answer is 92. Now we have 2 times 46. But we still set the question out in the same way. We still have our larger number, our 2-digit number, on top, because remember with multiplication, order doesn't matter. Now 6 times 2 is 12, so 1, 2, and 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so 2 times 46 is 92. 23 times 7. So let's set this out as a short multiplication. So remember putting our larger number on top. Now we start by multiplying the ones. So 3 times 7 is 21. So 2, 1. Then onto our tens digits. 2 times 7 is 14. But then we need to add this 2 on top. So 2 times 7 is 14. Plus 2 is 16. So our answer is 161. Now 93 times 2, we can set this out in the same way. 3 times 2 is 6, and that's a single digit number, so we don't need to write anything up here. Instead, we can write the 6 in our answer line. Now 9 times 2 is 18, and we don't have anything to add, so we can just write 18. So 93 times 2 is 186. Now we have 4 times 53, and though the question starts with the single digit number here, we set out our short multiplication in exactly the same way, putting the larger number on top. And we can do that because with multiplication, order doesn't matter. 3 times 4 is 12, so that's a 2-digit number, which means we need to write 12 as 1, 2. Now onto our tens digit. 5 times 4 is 20, and we need to add the 1 on top, so we have 21. So 4 times 53 is 212. Now here we're dividing multiples of 10, so numbers that end in a 0, by single digit numbers. And we can do this using mental methods. First, we have 60 divided by 2. Well, 6 divided by 2 is 3, so 60 divided by 2 is 30. If we ignore our end 0, 6 divided by 2 is 3, because 3 times 2 is 6, but if we have one end 0 in our dividend, we need one end 0 in our answer. Now, 240 divided by 3. Well, 24 divided by 3 is 8, so 240 divided by 3 is 80. If we ignore our end 0, we know that 24 divided by 3 is 8, and that's because 8 times 3 is 24, but then if we have one end 0 in our dividend, we have one end 0 in our answer. Now 240 divided by 4 is 60. Because 24 divided by 4 is 6, then if we have one end 0 in the dividend, we have an end 0 in the answer. And 250 divided by 5 is 50. Because 25 divided by 5 is 5, and then we just need our end 0. Now let's divide by chunking. So we know that normally with division, we can count up in steps of the divisor until we reach the dividend. But here, it would take us a very long time to count up in 4s until we reached 100. So on our number line, instead of jumping in 4s, we can make one big jump of 10 times 4, which is 40. So if we jump 10 4s, we get to 40. But that's still less than 100. So we can make another jump of 10 4s, so add another 40 to our number line, and 40 plus 40 is 80. So 80 is what we get from altogether we've got 10, 20 jumps of 4. Now, if we jumped another 10 steps of 4, that would take us too far. If we add in another 10 times 4, so another 40, that would take us to 120, but that would be too many. So what can we do instead? Well, you might know that 5 times 4 is 20. So if our next jump is 5 times 4, so adds another 20, 80 plus 5 times 4, so 80 plus 20 takes us to 100, so takes us to our dividend. Then we just count up what we jumped. We jumped 2 10s and we jumped a 5. So altogether we jumped 25 steps, so 100 divided by 4 is 25. Now 141 divided by 3. Again, we're not going to count in steps of 3, we can count in steps of 10 times 3, and 10 lots of 3 is 30. Another 10 lots of 3 means we can add another 30, and 30 plus 30 is 60, but we're still not close to our dividend, so another 10 lots of 3, another 30 takes us to 90, and we're not there yet, so let's keep going. Another 10 lots of 3, so 90, plus another 30 takes us to 120, but here, if we jumped another 10 lots of 3, that would take us to 150, and that would be too many. So, we need to jump in something smaller. Now, 5 times 3 is 15. So, if we jump in 5 times 3, we can add 15 to 120. And 120 plus 15 is 135. Now we're very close to 141. You might be able to spot that 141 is 6 more than 135, and 6 is 2 lots of 3. So if we add another 2 lots of 3, so another 2 times 3, another 6, that takes us to our dividend, takes us to 141. So again, we just count up what we jumped. We jumped up 10, 20, 30, 40, so 4 10s, and then we jumped 5 and 2, which together is 7. So our answer is 47. Now 180 divided by 5. Again, we can start by jumping in steps of 10 times 5, so in steps of 50. If we add another 10 times 5, 50 plus another 50 is 100, and another 10 lots of 5 take us to 150. Now if we added another 10 times 5, so jumped another 10, that would take us to 200, but that would be too many. So we don't want to jump in 10 times 5. Instead, let's jump in 5 times 5, because 5 lots of 5 is 25, and if we add 25 to 150, that takes us to 175. So from there, to get to 180, we just need to jump one more. So altogether, we jumped 10, 20, 30, so 3 in our 10s. Then we jumped 5 and 1, so 6. So 180 divided by 5 is 36. Now let's divide using expanded division. So for 69 divided by 3, we can start by writing the question out like this, so with the divisor on the left. Now we take the first digit, which is a 6. So 6 is in the 3 times table, so we can write 6 below the 6, and then because 6 is 2 times 3, we can write 2 in our answer line, so this bit up here is our answer line. Now, normally we subtract, so 6 minus 6 is 0, so we don't need to write anything, but the next step is to bring down the next digit, so bring down the 9. Now again, 9 is in the 3 times table, so we can write minus 9 under the 9, and because 9 is 3 times 3, we have 3 as the final digit of our answer line, and we can subtract to show that we don't have a remainder. So 69 divided by 3 is 23. Now 72 divided by 4, so we write the question out in the same way. Now taking the first digit, we have 7 divided by 4. But 7 isn't in the 4 times table. So we need to find the closest multiple of 4 to 7, which is still less than 7. That's 4, because if we went to 8, that would be too many. Now 4 is 1 times 4, so 1 goes in our answer line. Then we subtract and bring down. So 7 minus 4 is 3, and we can bring down the 2. So now we have 32 divided by 4. Well, 32 is in the 4 times table, and that's 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32, so 8 goes in our answer line. Then we can subtract to show that we don't have a remainder, and we have our answer. 95 divided by 5. The first digit is a 9, and the closest number to 9 that's in the 5 times table, but which is still less than 9, is 5. And that's 1 times 5, so 1 goes in our answer line. Now we subtract and bring down. 9 minus 5 is 4, and we bring down the 5, so we have 45 divided by 5. Well, 45 is in the 5 times table, so we can write that underneath. And 9 times 5 is 45, so it's 9 as the last digit of our answer. We can subtract to 0 to show that we don't have a remainder, and we have our answer up here. 95 divided by 5 is 19. Now, 128 divided by 2. Well, if we look at the first digit, 1 is less than 2, and when this happens, we can take the first 2 digits together. So we can divide 12 by 2. And the reason for that isn't because we have a 3-digit number. It's because when we look at our first digit, it's less than the divisor. So let's start with 12 divided by 2. Well, 12 is in the 2 times table, so we can write 12 underneath. And because 12 is 6 times 2, we can write 6 in our answer line. Now we subtract, so 12 minus 12 is 0, so we don't need to write anything, but we do need to bring down this 8. So we have 8 divided by 2. Again, 8 is in the 2 times table, so we can write 8 underneath, and because that's 4 times 2, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 is the final digit of our answer, and we can subtract to 0 to show that we don't have a remainder. So 128 divided by 2 is 64. 69 divided by 3. So we can set this out as a short division. And we start, if we can, by dividing the first digit by 3. So dividing the first digit by the divisor. Now 6 divided by 3 is exactly 2. And that's because 2 times 3 is 6. So we don't have a remainder, and we can move straight on to the next digit. 9 divided by 3 is exactly 3, and that's because 3 times 3 is 9. So our answer is 23. Now, 72 divided by 4. Taking the first digit, we have 7 divided by 4. Now 7 isn't in the 4 times table, which means we are going to have a remainder. 2 times 4 is 8, but that's too many, so we need to stop at 1 times 4, which is 4, but then to get to 7 from 4, we need 3 more, so 3 is our remainder. That's because 1 times 4 is 4, and then we need to add 3 to get to 7. So now we have 32 divided by 4, which is 8, because 8 times 4 is 32. So our answer is 18. Now 95 divided by 5. Again, we can set this out as a short division and start by dividing the first digit, so dividing 9 by 5. There needs to be a 1 in our answer line because 1 times 5 is 5, but then we need 4 more to get to 9. So 9 divided by 5 is 1 remainder 4. So now we have 45 divided by 5, which is 9, because 9 times 5 is 45. So our answer is 19. Now 128 divided by 2. We can set this out in the same way, but we're going to do something slightly different here. If we take the first digit, we have 1 divided by 2, which is 0 remainder 1. But rather than doing that, if the first digit is smaller than the divisor, what you can do is take the first 2 digits together. So we can take 12 and divide 12 by 2. That's exactly 6, because 6 times 2 is 12, so we don't have a remainder here. So we just need to divide 8 by 2. That's 4, because 4 times 2 is 8, so our answer is 64.